Rodriguez. I'm running for sheriff of LA County, and I'm your only registered Republican in this race out of 9 candidates. We have 8 Democrats in this office that are running, and 1 Republican, conservative, law and order candidate. I come from a law enforcement family. I was raised by a sergeant. We worked 32 years in the sheriff's department. My brother did 34 years, was a sergeant. I did 25 years. I retired as a captain in 2013. I went on to San Diego as a deputy director of transit security for the entire trolley system. Came back to the City of Commerce, public safety director. 2016, I'm on record all over the City of Commerce saying Proposition 47 is going to be a nightmare for our community. You cannot decriminalize 100 felony offenses, especially narcotics offenses. Who, you know, most of the drug addicts in this community are the ones causing problems. They fuel their habit by committing crime at night. Anything not tied down gets stolen and sold for pennies on the dollar. Petty theft with a prior went out the window, so that's why you get to see all these smash and grabs that we see on TV. So 2016, as the public safety director in Commerce, I was speaking out against that law. Became the interim city manager there. Later on was in charge of security for the entire Metrolink system. So I also ran LA Metro as a captain in LASD. So I'm kind of a transit expert on the West Coast, worked 3 different transit agencies. You won't find any other lawman that has done that. I was the interim chief of police in Santa Paula. I was also the assistant chief of police there. I have 4 academic degrees. I have a degree from USC, the School of Public Policy, a master's degree. I have a master's degree from Cal State Long Beach, public administration. I have a bachelor's degree from UCLA, political science with an emphasis in public law. So I got both the Bruins and the Trojans covered, okay? And I also have an AA degree from Citrus College. I grew up here in West Covina in the San Gabriel Valley. So I just want to tell you this. I'm the only guy that sits here and will stand up and tell you, number 1, I believe in God. Number 2, I believe in my family. Number 3, I believe in the community. I have faith in the rule of law. I respect the men and women in law enforcement and the men and women who serve our country. So my number 1 priority as your next sheriff of LA County is to get the deputies back to work doing the core fundamental job that they signed on to do and were trained to do, and that's enforcing the law and holding criminals accountable when they commit a crime and making sure they're responsible and there's a consequence and they go to jail. I signed the recall petition, Mr. Cooley. I signed it, and I got the mail yesterday. My 95-year-old mother signed it as well, so you know. I'm the only challenger to Alex Villanueva to have signed that petition. You cannot say that you're a law and order sheriff if you do not call out Mr. Gascon. You just cannot say that. So here's the danger. And I know a lot of people here are supporting Alex Villanueva, as is Mr. Cooley, but here's the danger. If Matt Rodriguez does not get in this runoff, you will not have any conservatives in this race, because Luna down in Long Beach is as left can be. He's already said he's going to fire the 3,500, 4,000 deputies that are not vaccinated. I do not force vaccinate anybody, okay? I was vaccinated because I was trying to be prudent toward my mom. I got vaccinated 3 times and then got COVID. So you tell me what the hell's going on, okay? I don't believe in that stuff anymore. I will not do that. Here's the other difference. When it comes to working with ICE, I'm not kicking them out of the jail. I will work with ICE under certain conditions. If you come into this country, as a lot of immigrants have, and you're here to better your life and better your family and do what you got to do, I protect you. I will protect you. Okay, but when you leave that space and become a violent felon, Matt Rodriguez will never release you back into Los Angeles County. I personally will deliver you to ICE to be returned to your country of origin if you're in this country illegally and you're committing felonies in LA County. That is something that I will do, period. And no other candidate is going to tell you that. Let's knock down this county jail. Let's rebuild it with the mental health capacity that we need to help these homeless out here, because that's what the problem is, followed by substance abuse, and then we'll figure out the housing issue, okay? So there's a few conservative issues. When it comes to concealed weapons permits, I don't believe in just cause, okay? Just cause is for you to protect your family, to protect your children, protect your schools, protect your place of business. So I, as your next sheriff, will have a shall issue policy when it comes to concealed weapons permits, which is not uncommon. Go to Riverside, go to San Bernardino, Orange County, and Ventura, you'll see the same policy. Of course, there's a litmus test. Can't be crazy, can't be a violent felon. You better train with the weapon, buy it legally, and store it appropriately. I shall issue you a concealed weapon permit. I said that to the LA Times, and they went completely nuts. And they said, "Are you crazy?" I said, "No, I'm not crazy. You're crazy if you think that I'm going to have another guy pulled out of his Ferrari in Beverly Hills and pistol whipped in the lane right there in front of everybody without a way to protect himself. You're crazy if you think Matt Rodriguez is going to allow that under his watch." Okay? I've dedicated my entire adult life. I've dedicated my entire adult life to public safety, to protecting innocent victims. And this is why this race is so important. And then I'll cut out. Because if you allow Luna, Rambo, Strong, or any of those far left candidates to get in a runoff with Alex Villanueva, they are going to beat him. Because the Democrats cannot stand Alex Villanueva. Alex is not going to get 50% on Tuesday. He's going to be in a runoff. And I'll tell you why it's going to be me. Because I'm the only conservative in this race, and everywhere I go, people love my message because I'm singing the same song as Mr. Cooley. We want law and order. We want people held accountable, people to go to jail. I will work with the board. I'll start with the 2 moderates on the board. We will refund law enforcement. We will get those 1,500 deputies that are off on long-term disability because they don't want to be at work anymore because the sheriff's department is in complete shambles. Defunded, destroyed, everything. And I'm going to take it back. And we're going to fix it, not just by myself, but with everybody and a great team. You guys remember the name Bob Lindsay? He ran 4 years ago, got like 30% or so of the vote. He's on my team, as is a whole bunch of conservative guys ready to bring greatness back to the sheriff's office. So this is what we're going to do. So, any questions of where I'm at? I'm here to protect the deputies, protect the community, at all costs. That's the number one thing. Any questions of Matt Rodriguez? Yes, sir.
What did when you explained why you will issue the concealed carry and the guys getting pulled out of their cars, what did your interviewer say? Didn't he say
they went crazy? They thought I was nuts. Let me tell you what the mainstream media, and I've been on TV more than any candidate over this last month. I peaked at the right time. They've been trying to vilify me because I'm the only Republican and I'm the only conservative in this race. And every time they report me, including Conan Nolan and all the rest of them on Channel 4, 11, Spectrum, they all say, he's the only conservative, he's the only Republican. How does he expect to win in LA County? I'll tell you why. And Mr. Cooley, you should have said this earlier. It's not a partisan thing, sir, to your point. This is not a Republican issue. Public safety transcends everything. It doesn't matter whether you're far left, far right, rich or poor, here illegally or legally. Everybody wants to live with peace and safety in their heart. So I believe they will vote to get rid of this nut that's in office. You watch. They're going to vote to take him out. Why? Because Democrats want to be safe too. And I'm not leaning left by any means. I'm the most right candidate, further right than Alex. So, yes?
I want to mention that the CRA, statewide and local chapters, have endorsed you.
That's correct.
Can you speak to that?
I was 3-4 nights ago. I was in Santa Monica. I spoke to the California Republican Assembly. I was endorsed by the California Republican Assembly, and I got an A rating from the Pistol and Rifle Association. I'm the only one that got the A rating because they know I'm going to give out concealed weapons permits to allow people to protect themselves. So this is a hugely important race on Tuesday. Come out and vote. Make sure I get into that runoff with Alex, because then at least you'll have 2 people you can live with, okay? That's the key. Somebody said, Matt, you're a spoiler because you're talking to conservatives against Alex. Alex is not going to be your next sheriff. Take that to the bank, because if one of these liberals gets in play, they're going to take him out because the Democrats want him gone, period. So don't give them that opportunity. Put another law and order candidate on the ballot and let Alex and I go toe-to-toe. Any questions?
Just one more question.
Yes.
I've heard stories of internal gangs within the LA Sheriff's Department. I don't know if that's true or not, but I'd like to know, what would you do if that exists to root that out and get that out? I support law enforcement 100%, but that cannot be allowed. Get that out.
I support law enforcement 150%, okay? However, gangbangers or deputies that want to act like gangbangers, I don't think so. You're not going to have a badge under Matt Rodriguez's leadership if you're conducting yourself like a gangbanger. At 26 years old, I was asked to get a tattoo that was menacing on my ankle. I turned it down. I was exercising leadership at 26 years old, not just 56 years old. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my team of investigators. We will bolster up internal affairs, also internal criminal. We will find out who they are, and if they're conducting themselves outside of the scope of the policy, outside of the scope of the law, they will be removed from our ranks, and they'll be removed from the profession altogether. There is no violation of civil rights, abusing people, and abusing your power and authority just because you got a tattoo, think you can conduct yourself like a gangster. And then on the other end of it, day one when you show up at the academy, these young, impressionable kids that show up at 21 years old, I will tell them, you're not putting a tattoo on your ankle, you're not conducting yourself like a gangbanger. Here's the pitfalls of doing that. And any sheriff, like the one in office that tells you there are none in play, they are in play. And that's why we paid out $55 million in lawsuits. That's why he's created a policy against it. And that's why he transferred 30-something people from the banditos of East LA, because he said they were gangsters. So it is an issue. Don't bury your head in the sand. Deal with it and rid the department of those gangsters. I appreciate your guys' time. Thank you. God bless everybody. I look forward to Tuesday.